Rights activist Yasser Louati, who joins us now from Paris. We know that the police are currently investigating more than 50 Muslim associations. The government says only those which are promoting hatred will be shut down. Do you believe that, or do you think that all Muslims feel that they're all being demonized because of this?
In the aftermath of the terrorist attacks in the Bataclan 5 years ago, the Hollande administration went in state-sponsored retaliation called the state of emergency. Over 5,000 raids approximately were carried. 0.16% of them led to investigation on terrorism. Now today we have Gérald Darmanin following Emmanuel Macron's speech on so-called Islamic separatism, saying that they are targeting these organizations. Now, to quote this Minister of Interior twice, a week ago, he was on the national radio, and he said when they shut down a Muslim association that offered Arabic lessons in the northern banlieue, that he shut down the organization, not because they had anything against it, but by using the COVID-19 restrictions. That's him speaking. This morning, he spoke to another French outlet and said that the organization they have raided and the individuals that they have woke up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning were targeted not again because they had anything on them or in relation to the brutal beheading of Mr. Samuel Paty, may he rest in peace, but to send, quote unquote, a message. So now we are clearly in an operation of communication operation by the government and in state-sponsored intimidation and retaliation. Now, what about due process? What about freedom of speech? What about freedom of religion? What about not singling out a whole community for the action of one individual? If the president is speaking of tackling terrorism, we have not seen such one-upmanship and bravery when a year ago multiple far-right terrorist attacks were thwarted because they were about to shoot down imams, Muslim women wearing the headscarf, and to poison halal shelves in supermarkets. And this is clearly unprecedented, and I'm sincerely the human rights advocate that I am. Ask the question: if we allow this government to do this, what's going to happen next? The Minister of Interior says we have nothing on those people. We are targeting them because we want to send a message.
When you pose the question, if we allow the government to do this, what happens next? What is it you think that the Muslim communities should be doing to try and prevent this? Is there something that they can be doing that could perhaps ease the feelings of uncertainty that a lot of people feel in France right now?
Well, I don't see what the Muslim community, even though it doesn't exist, we have Muslim communities. What can they do? You have this individual who sought asylum in France of Chechen origin, 18 years old, commits this action. And on top of it, this is not only the trial of social media and the frenzy that preceded his brutal killing, but also the trial of our government's failure with all the law that allow mass surveillance, all the extreme powers gathered under the state of emergency, tackling terrorism. The government now can raid any place. They can put under surveillance any person, MC catchers to hear our conversations. This individual was reported by Muslims to the government, and yet it slipped, and this person committed this horrendous attack. And Muslims now are supposed to be held accountable for not only the failures of this government, but for the actions of a person that nobody knows anything about. And this, honestly, I do not see what communities that are constantly under Islamophobic pressure, that face discrimination in school, housing, etc. They are not even asking for anything, just not to be held accountable for the actions of one person. But again, this is nobody. Make no mistake about it. We are 18 months before the upcoming presidential election, and Emmanuel Macron has nothing to show for himself. No economic success, no social success, the Yellow Vest movement, the pandemic crisis. 32,000 people died. Nearly 200,000 people have pressed or are about to press charges against him and his administration. Some raids were carried against his former Prime Minister, Edouard Philippe, and the Minister of Health, Olivier Véran, on the mismanagement of the pandemic. And now Muslims all of a sudden have been put at the center of public debates. So the remaining time we have left before the election centers around identity issues.
Yes, thank you very much indeed for your analysis there. Yasser Louati in Paris.